Hey guys, Jared here with RP Strength and Fitness. I wanted to answer another common question that we get in our no sweat intros. This one actually, I'm probably going to get off on the exact topic a little bit on this one, but um, people often come in and maybe they haven't lifted weights before. They're not really sure like what actually happens when we lift weights in terms of, our strength, the ability to build muscle, those kind of things. So a very common question that I'll get, and I'm going to phrase it in the sense of, will lifting weights make me bulky? Or oftentimes people will just make a statement of, I don't want to lift heavy because I don't want to get too bulky. Or, I'm concerned that I'm going to put on too much muscle. Or often I'll get the phrase like, I want my muscles to be long and lean and not like the short and dense muscles, okay? So I'm gonna do my best to try to make this understandable. When we lift weights, so lifting weights is probably the best possible thing that you can do to have good health as we age. So all like muscle building aside, being stronger, having denser bones, having stronger ligaments and tendons will never be detrimental to anybody. And so even when I mentioned my in-body scale, when some people come in and they get scanned, if you're deficient in muscle, then losing weight should be less of a point of interest, unless your doctors have recommended that you do so, than building muscle would be. I tell everybody that I would love for everybody that comes into the gym, regardless of who you are, to put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle in your life. There's not anybody that couldn't benefit from that. Now, that being said, when people say, I don't really want to do strength training because I don't want to get too muscular, there are so many things that go on when it comes to building muscle that if I could write a program that would make everybody too muscular, then I'd be the most popular coach in the country, because you have to lift enough weights that you're taxing your muscles enough to want to either increase in muscle size or density, as well as your nutrition needs to be in a surplus. You have to have proper recovery, sleep, all those things in order to build muscle. There's an argument in the industry, many people will say that it's way harder to build muscle than it is to burn fat. And so what I tell people oftentimes is train to gain muscle and let the fat kind of burn as you go until you get to the point where, maybe you've plateaued in one or the other, and we can adjust that. But lifting weights does not necessarily make you bulky unless you are eating an excessive amount of calories and you are lifting weights maybe 6-7 days a week. And even then you would have to be young and your body would have to build muscle genetically very, very quickly. Even putting on a pound of muscle a week would be almost unheard of for most people. And so, like for myself, I wanted my whole life to be 200 pounds of muscle. And I was, maybe after strength training for about 10 years, I think I finally broke 175. So I went from 155, 160 to about 175 in almost 10 years. And it's taken me, about the next 15 years to put on the next 15 pounds. And so it's a very, very long process. And so again, people will come in oftentimes and they'll say, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get too big and muscular. And not that that's not a concern, it's not a realistic one for most people. And so unless you are on hormone replacement therapy, maybe you're taking testosterone or growth hormone or something, then that will make you improve muscle faster. As well as like the idea of like having long and lean muscles. Unfortunately, you don't get to change the way your muscle genetics are. Where your biceps, for example, if my tendon attaches a little bit higher or a little bit lower, then that's going to make that muscle, basically, even a quarter inch or a half an inch longer than somebody else who might be my same, age, height, and weight, that kind of thing. So you don't get to change that. Now you can increase, the size of particular parts of the muscle by doing certain types of training. So if I'm doing lots of palms up bicep curls, I'm going to make a little bit more of a rounded bicep, whereas if I'm doing a lot of hammer curls or reverse curls, there's a flat muscle underneath here called the brachialis that actually thickens. So it'll thicken that, making the whole bicep itself like thicker, but not necessarily as rounded. So there are other things that you can do in training to change that. But for the most part, if somebody is trying to lose weight, if they're burning a lot of calories doing cardio, or maybe they're in a caloric deficit every single day, the chances of you putting on muscle in any capacity is reduced in that way. That doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means that you're a lot less likely to put on muscle when you're in a caloric deficit, as well as if you're doing an excessive amount of cardio. If you're lifting weights for 45 minutes and then you go home and ride the bike for 2 hours, that's also going to hinder your ability to put on muscle. And so again, another reason why you typically want to hire a coach, or at least talk to somebody who can help you figure out what you need to do for your goals, is going to be kind of the best way to go. But again, if you're concerned about lifting weights, if you're concerned that your body composition is going to just dramatically change into having, muscle on muscle from lifting weights, I would again just kind of discourage you from thinking too much about that. Gaining muscle is a very, very good thing. It's good for everybody, regardless of your age, fitness level, and goals. Even if you're trying to lose weight, we want to maintain as much muscle as possible in that process. And so, again, lifting weights does not make you bulky. It will help improve your muscle strength, your tendon and ligament health, as well as bone density. And if you build muscle in the process, that is absolutely a great thing to have happen as a side effect. So again, strength training, very, very important, something that everybody should be doing in some capacity. Refer to other videos about training frequency if you have questions on that as well. Otherwise, if you have questions about what you should be doing in particular, make sure to reach out to us or somebody else that can help you kind of determine what is best for your goals. Thank you, and look forward to more videos in the future.